Good morning and welcome to the show. This is In Touch, and I am Beth Christie, your hostess. In Touch is our weekly half-hour public affairs show, which means if you are a nonprofit group or organization here in the Hudson Valley, or you are a company here in the Hudson Valley helping out a nonprofit group or organization, we'd love to have you on the show to talk about what is important to you. And I will give you all of my contact information at the end. But let me turn on the microphone. Let me also say that this is pre-recorded. Any websites, phone numbers, Facebook pages, Twitter feeds, whatever we may talk about, please know that whatever station you're listening to this morning, you can head to their website. We'll have a copy of this interview as well as an article surrounding that video, and we'll have all the links in there. So Jewel Ratzlaff is here, and Jewel is here representing the Poughkeepsie Public Library District. She is the Public Information Officer there, as well as the coordinator for the Poughkeepsie Read. It's very nice to have you here, so welcome.
Well, thank you so much. It's great to be here.
It's very, very cool. Tom Lawrence has been on the show on several occasions. I've always said to him, and I will say to you, I'm always impressed with the programs that are offered, what the Poughkeepsie Public Library District offers to the community, and that folks should take advantage of it. I'm impressed with all that you guys do. It is active, it is alive, it is vibrant. And those of you that go to the library, that should come as no surprise. But I don't think that's an easy thing to do.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And it is a great place. I am so happy to be there. I've been at the Poughkeepsie Public Library District for about 5 years now. And I like to tell people I have the best job in the whole world. So I love it. I love it. So it's a great place, great community place.
Now, when Tom is here, and actually whenever any organization stops by on our show and in the studio and visits, I always like to kind of get caught up with how things have been in the past year, in the past 6 months. So what has been going on at the library, which is such a loaded question. As I just said, you guys have a million things going on, but what has been kind of a synopsis of the past,
well,
2015, I guess.
Okay, I'll do my best. I don't know if I can hit everything, but I know I won't. But I think one of the wonderful things that's been happening is a lot of collaborating and outreach into the community. And so I'm really, really proud of that. We've had some great outreach efforts this summer. We've been at the Movies Under the Walkway, which is a new event that great collaboration between quite a number of groups in the area. And we had information there. We were there talking to people about resources that they can access both online and in person. And we have been involved, of course, with the school districts, being at various fairs and information sessions. Also, ongoing collaborations with the Bardavon and the Culinary Institute of America. So those kinds of great opportunities to rub shoulders with folks in the community and really have a chance to tell them about all of the great resources at the library district. And, you know, that your library card is really a very, very valuable part of your wallet. If you don't have one, man, you got to get one, because there are a lot of resources that you can access with a library card. And you know, free Wi-Fi, you can do your email at the library, you can access fabulous resources like databases and, you know, car repair manuals online that you can get free. You don't have to,
Don't be spending that money.
Yeah, really.
Get to the library and find out.
Exactly. You can rent DVDs for nothing. You can take books, and you can even access now magazines. We have a great magazine subscription.
Oh, that's cool.
That you can get. So you're sitting at the doctor's office and you're waiting. You take out your smartphone or your iPad or whatever device you have. If you've got Wi-Fi, you can get right into this great collection of magazines.
That's cool.
Using your library card, and it's all free.
Guess what I'm doing after the interview when I'm supposed? No, I'll be working. I meant later.
Later. Sure. That's called Zinio.
That's cool.
Yeah. So there are lots of those kinds of resources that people don't even know about. That it's great to be out in the community and talking to folks and letting them know the great things that are happening. Also, another thing that happened just recently is our wonderful friends of the Poughkeepsie Public Library District opened a bookstore.
Really?
At Boardman Road. Yes. You know that they're known for their massive book sale in the spring,
Yes.
right? Well, they're not going to be doing that anymore because they're going to be running a used bookstore year-round.
That's great.
So that is located at the new branch library on Boardman Road at 141 Boardman Road. And the ribbon cutting was Tuesday, October 20th. Great crowd of people there. The chamber was there and lots of people waiting in line for that door to open. So most of the items there are under $2 and they have an enormous collection. It's just fabulous. So that's open now 3 days a week, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturdays. Tuesday and Saturday, it's from 10 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon. Thursday, they're open a little later from 10 in the morning to 6 in the evening. And again, these are volunteers, dedicated volunteers who sort all the donated books that people give the library. They put them out on these beautiful shelves and they're alphabetized, they're organized, and they're volunteers who are there at the checkout area. And I mean, it's just a fabulous bunch of people. They are, I can't say enough positive about the Friends. They just dedicate so much to helping and supporting the library.
And the books are beautiful. I mean, I remember the one for like before the holiday sale. I mean, you could get gift books. I mean,
and that holiday sale, they still are doing. They are going to do that this year, the weekend before Thanksgiving at Locust Grove.
Because there's books that you get there that are really beautiful. We have to take our grandson Bentley on Saturday. I think we should go because how much fun would that be? You know,
sure.
He could pick out a book because
there's a whole kids section.
If his interest in a couple of weeks goes not so much this anymore, you're like, okay, then we're still fine.
Yeah,
that's great, beautiful. I love
lots of good stuff.
Beautiful. Now everybody sees we're just the tip of the iceberg. What I mean by there's always something going on and active. And I think that's great that there's that used bookstore. I mean, that's another way of helping out a community, helping somebody. Like you said, library card is very valuable. If you don't have one, you seriously should. And then with the bookstore, you can get books, maybe some of your favorites that you've always wanted in your collection. You just might find there and you can build a collection and you're not paying an arm and a leg.
That's right.
That's right. So when I introduced you, we also introduced you as a coordinator for the Poughkeepsie Read.
Right.
Which I think, if I remember right, which is always questionable, but if I remember right, I remember Tom being on talking about it, I think, for one of the first ones. And wasn't sure what it was going to do, but he had a sense, you guys had a sense of how it could grow. And you talk about collaborative. This is a great, brilliant example of how far-reaching this is. So let's talk about the Poughkeepsie Read this year.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, this is our 9th year doing a community-wide read. And we've expanded it to 6 weeks this year. So we started October 9, and we're running through November 22nd. And in those 6 weeks, we have things, public events, happening across the region, all the way as far north as Statsburg to down to Beacon, and from Highland to Millbrook and Beekman and so on. We've got lots of libraries, public libraries involved. Nice. And so there are events happening at other libraries where folks are reading the books. We're studying Steinbeck this year, so we're reading Grapes of Wrath and Of Mice and Men. And then there are events, of course, at the Bardavon and at the Culinary and at many other locations, as well as there are students in our local high schools who are studying these books. Some of them actually had Grapes of Wrath assigned over the summer. That was their summer reading. They came back to school. They've been writing papers and working on projects, and now they're reading Of Mice and Men, and they're the compare and contrast and all of this great stuff, learning the history, the context for these, and how do these wonderful pieces of literature relate to us today here in the Hudson Valley, or even when you look at the news and you see the Syrian refugees and you think about displaced people. I mean, that's what Grapes of Wrath is looking at displaced people in the 1930s of America. But is that story really that different from displaced people all around the world?
Right.
So it's something that communities around the world love, The Grapes of Wrath. It's been translated into 42 different languages, and many, many communities just really can identify with the themes of family and home and what happens when you lose your home and how do you keep it together? How do you survive and carry on? And where's the hope? What are you longing for? Where's that bright spot that's going to carry you forward? And so there are a lot of wonderful themes. We've had great guest speakers, and there's lots more lined up. And I have to give such credit to our more than 50 partners who are involved in this process. So it's not just the Poughkeepsie Public Library District who's coming up with programs and speakers and stuff. I mean, this is really a collaborative effort. So we have concerts and performances and all kinds of fun things happening. There's a large calendar that we printed with over 90 public events in the course of 6 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you don't have that calendar, folks, just stop by your local library, or you can find it online. Although it's a little bit hard to read this kind of calendar online. But if you stop over at the Hyde Park Library, Statsburg Library, LaGrange, Beekman, Howland Library, or let's see, who have I forgotten? Millbrook and Poughkeepsie Public, of course, you can pick up a copy of this calendar. So
which can I just say, Joel, I'm sorry, you have to pick this up, because I'm looking at this going, oh, that's cool. Oh, look at that. Oh, wait, what is that? Hang on a second.
Did you notice there's even a listening event for old time radio shows?
I love that.
How cool is that, right?
And here's the thing that not many people know about me. I love postage stamps.
Oh, neat. Well, we have a family program to create postage stamps.
I know. Yes. That's what I'm saying. I have my grandfather's collection. Oh. I have mine. Mm-hmm. I'm just, okay. I'm done. I just think that's the coolest thing.
Yeah, I think there's something here for everyone. We have Anthony Musso coming to talk about FDR and the post office. We have an art professor from Dutchess Community College, Emmett McLaughlin, who's going to be talking about the painters of the WPA era and what art came out of that era. Yeah. Of course, we've got county players on board doing a 3-week production of Mice and Men.
Yep.
And that's going to be opening November 6th, running for 3 weekends. We've got Fourth Wall Productions doing a staged reading of The Pearl at the Beacon Theater. And we have, if you're a foodie, and who doesn't like food, right? There's an event coming up on November 2nd at the Culinary Institute that I'd like to highlight. The Rural and Migrant Ministry organization in this area, who works with migrant farm workers, came to us and said, we have a connection with Ruth Reichel. Would you be interested in having Ruth Reichel come and speak about food justice as part of the Poughkeepsie Read? And we said, yes, that would be awesome. And so we approached the Culinary Institute, and they are hosting this event on Monday, the 2nd of November at 7 p.m., And in addition to Ruth Reichel, who was the former editor of Gourmet Magazine, we also have Margaret Gray, who's going to be speaking. Now, Margaret Gray has done a lot of research and written a book about farmers in the Hudson Valley and the situation or the conditions of farm workers, farm labor in the Hudson Valley.
Okay.
And so the two of them together will be having this public conversation on food justice and what does it mean to eat equitably, and, in honoring the land, honoring the people who work the land, sustainable agriculture, sustainable grocery stores and cooking and farmers markets and these kinds of things, as well as, of course, encouraging our local restaurants to take advantage of the fabulous produce that's produced right here in the Hudson Valley, eating local, farm to table, all of this kind of thing, and honest wages for fast food workers and restaurant workers. I mean, you name it. It's the whole spectrum of justice around our food and environment. Wow. So, and how much more appropriate could that be for Grapes of Wrath when you're looking at the degradation of the land and the change of farming practices?
Yeah.
From the Dust Bowl era and California's farming, big farmers as opposed to the little farmers. And so there's all kinds of ways that you can look at this literature, and it prompts great discussion on a variety of topics. Yep. So we're just really, really excited about the possibilities of bringing a community together to talk about these kinds of issues, as well as, of course, I've heard a lot of people say, I read that book when I was in high school and I don't know. And, I just encourage them, give it a try. And people come back and say, wow, it means so much more to me now as I read it as an adult than it ever meant to me as a high school student.
Right. I remember in college taking a film as lit course. And, of course, we watched The Grapes of Wrath and Henry Fonda. And I watched it, and, you write papers on it. And, I would like to think that I had a certain intellect, although I'm questioning. No, I'm only kidding. That, I understood it and I got it. But I agree with that. When I see it now, my heart breaks deeper. Mm-hmm. And you get this sense, even if it's a sense of appreciation of what you have. Yeah. And what is important, what's really important, and what you're going to fight for, and what you're not. And it really deepens, and the colors are richer in what you feel when you've experienced a little bit of life and you find things that are important and what you'll do to hang on to them and keep them safe. So this is just, I just love all of this. We talk, like you said, collaborative. Look at all of the organizations and individuals in the community.
I would like to also just thank the local colleges for participating. We have professors from Dutchess Community College. We have professors from Marist College. We are being hosted. There's a gallery talk at Francis Lehman Loeb.
Oh, cool.
And at Vassar.
When is that?
Wait a minute.
Was that over?
Yes.
That's okay. But just so people know, that's a great.
The Francis Lehman Loeb
is great.
Oh, fabulous.
It's absolutely fabulous.
Gallery
You should always
on the Vassar College campus.
You should always keep that on your list of things to do. I'm just saying.
And then we had two folks from Bard College who prepared marvelous workshops for teachers and discussion leaders. And those workshops took place actually before the read started as a way to encourage our teachers and the discussion leaders at libraries or in the community on how to use different techniques to get into the literature with their students or with their discussion groups, how to use writing as a tool to examine literature, how to use the visual images that we have so many of from the 1930s, thanks to the Farm Security Administration, black and white photos that everybody kind of knows from the New Deal. And so we really have had great participation from the different colleges in this whole event, and they've come up with some fabulous programs. I mean, there's going to be 6 Marist professors on stage at the FDR Museum on November 16, and they're going to be looking at and discussing the sights, the sounds, and the people in the Grapes of Wrath. So 6 professors from different backgrounds, different departments, coming together for a panel discussion at the FDR, moderated by Jeff Urban of the FDR. And of course, the FDR has just been fabulous. Jeff is doing a program of his own on Depression-era migration and the Hoovervilles and so on. He's going to be speaking at the Hyde Park Library on November 3rd. But in addition, he has opened the collection of the Farm Security Administration to us. They've made reprints of some of these great photographs from the 30s. and framed them for us. So we now have 3 traveling exhibits
cool.
that are going throughout the area throughout this 6-week period. And they're hanging in local libraries. They're going to theaters so that people who come to see Of Mice and Men will also get to see some of these photographs. People who go to a concert at Cooney and Hackett will see an array of these photographs. And then they're going to end their travels at Mill Street Loft, because some of the kids at Mill Street Loft who are reading a book, related book, actually. It's called Out of the Dust by Karen Hess, and it's for slightly younger readers. That group is going to be creating their own art.
Oh, wow.
And they're going to put them side by side with some of these FSA photographs.
Wow.
So, to have the resource of the FDR Museum right here and have them be so willing to jump in and work with us on this has just been fabulous. So I can't say enough about the great participation. I mean, the Bardavon and the Hudson Valley Philharmonic, their opening concert was in collaboration with the Reed and spotlighting Woody Guthrie. And so, I mean,
it's very powerful.
It's great.
My husband and I went to the FDR Museum on Labor Day, which seemed very appropriate when you look at his presidency and all that he did. Yeah. And I hadn't been there in a couple of years. It's one of my favorite places, and I go often as I love history. And I was very impressed with all that they have done. And I'm so glad I went there because as you're telling me this, I can see it. I mean, the exhibits and the way they did it, and you talk about Hooverville, and you talk about the WPA, you talk about the New Deal, you talk about all these things. It's very, very powerful. And when you walk in there and the way that they have some of the exhibits, you feel as if you are right.
It's amazing.
Right there. I mean, they did a tremendous job.
They really did. Yep.
It would be very powerful to see, as you said, the 6 Marist professors, that's on November 16th, to talk about it. You really will feel that you are there.
It's fabulous to have that visual component and those artifacts of letters that people wrote to FDR. And it's so touching and moving. I really was so grateful to Jeff Urban for giving us kind of a whirlwind personal tour when I had Steinbeck scholar Susan Schillinglaw here from California. He gave us a tour of the FDR, and she was just blown away. And it really is remarkable and a wonderful kind of addition to reading the book is seeing these visual images.
Yeah. When I first moved here, my Graham, who has since passed away, was a teenager during the Depression. When she came, we went through the museum, and she cried at many of the exhibits because she remembers. She knew that time that, like, all my life I used to kind of wonder why she saved plastic silverware and why she would rinse aluminum foil. And I was like, Graham, but you can throw that away. There's more coming. And I remember her saying, how do you know that? Because it can change. And she didn't do it in a scary way. It wasn't scary. It was she had lived through it and had survived it. Right. And when she went to the museum, there was a reminder and how much and that time frame. And that's what I always think of when I think of this. My great-grandfather worked on the railroad, and I think my own family, I mean, all of us in our families and our histories of someone who lived these times and went through them. And there are valuable lessons to learn from them, as we recently in 2008, as folks said, came so very, 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 very close. There was a lot of looking at the Depression once again at that time.
Right. And we're looking at drought now, too.
Yes,
in
exactly.
West.
Yes, exactly. So this is, do you guys plan these out like long in it? You guys have like a magic ball, don't you?
No, we don't.
Like,
we really don't.
This is going to be very topical right now at this moment in history. It seems like you guys do that.
Well, thank
good.
you.
You're just
we're
good.
just good. Yeah,
You're
right.
just good. Okay. We'll leave it at that.
Okay. All right. I was really glad that this book and this particular read gave me the impetus to interview my father-in-law, who grew up in the Panhandle of Oklahoma.
Wow.
They moved there when he was 6, right before the Depression, and so. Yeah, talk about really connecting a piece of literature to your own family. I mean, it was marvelous to hear him talk about how they managed to stay on the land. And thankfully, they had a banker who was willing to just work with them. And he said, I don't really want your land back. It's not worth anything to me. So please just stay and keep trying. And so they did. And, I'm really glad that we had that chance to talk about it. He's in his 90s, and so I won't have too many more of those chances.
Right, and that's a memory. It's like you said, it's a family memory, but it's also a memory of the country and what we went through. And as you started off saying, a misplaced persons,
right,
and what's going on in the world today. So it's very, very powerful. And as you mentioned too, it goes on through November 22nd, so there are still plenty of opportunities to participate in
including a really fun thing that we're doing on the 22nd as part of our wrap-up closing thing is we're asking people to submit edible books to our edible book contest. So an edible book can be any book that you choose to represent with food. So it can be made out of fruit or pie or cake or lunch meat or cheese or, potatoes, whatever you want. Create something that represents a book. So last year, I had a pile of grapes and I stuck little toothpicks in them with little paper flags that I wrote nasty things on, like, get away from me, you're touching me. Okay, these were the grapes of wrath. Okay?
Yes.
They were angry with each other. Very simple idea. Okay, so we have a contest and we want people to submit edible books.
I love that.
So we have online a descriptor and ways that people can get in touch with me if they want to submit something. So if they can just go to the website, which is www.pouklib, P-O-K-L-I-B for Poughkeepsie Library, .org, and then they can click on Poughkeepsie Read. And that will take them to all kinds of information and links and so on. And they'll find the information for the edible book contest on Sunday, November 22nd.
And also, whatever station you're listening to the show this morning, please know that on the website, we'll have the it's kind of an on-demand feature, if you will, about this interview, but there's also an article around it, and I will have a link directly to that page.
Great.
So we'll have all of that.
Great. And after we judge them, we're going to eat them.
I was going to ask what happens at that point. Okay.
Of course, we're going to eat them.
So, Jewel, believe it or not, we have 2.5 minutes left.
Wow.
I think when you start and I tell someone it's 30 minutes, they go, well, this isn't going to happen. We're going to see if we can get 15 and I'll see what I can do. But as always, with the Poughkeepsie Public Library, it's just amazing what it is that you guys do. Before I get to closing comments, which I do want to ask you, I have to ask this question. Are you already working on the next one?
We are.
And it's secretive and you can't tell me.
You're right.
I knew it.
We announced.
I was going to try, though. I'm always going to try.
We announce next year's book choice at the closing. So that's November 22nd.
Cool.
So
Okay.
when you bring your edible book,
there.
we'll eat the books and we'll announce next year's book choice.
Wow.
Yes. So we do meet year round for planning this. And you can see why. I mean, there's a lot going on.
But like I said, I'm just impressed not only with the programs and the services that the library offers, every day of the week to everyone in the community of what you can do. As you mentioned, the library card is very valuable. It should be in your wallet, but also the work that goes into this, the collaborative effort. If someone has a certain interest, then it's here as a way to explore this literature, to look at it, to see what it does, to reread it, to re-examine it and revisit it. So once again, a job well done. A job well done to everybody, because I know you guys all work so hard. This is not an easy thing to do. So Jewel, some final thoughts, closing comments you'd like to leave with folks this morning?
Well, it's actually so gratifying to me when I'm reaching out to different organizations and people in the community. could you do a program at the library on this topic or that topic, or could you be involved or host something for the read? And people say, yes, I would love to. I mean, we really have a wonderful community, and I'm just so appreciative of the participation at all levels. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention that we do have a budget vote coming up on November 3rd.
Yep.
And so that's another way that the community can show their support for the library district, is to come out and vote for the budget.
Very cool.
November 3rd. So I am just in awe of the resources that are available in the library, and I just want to get the word out. I want people to know that all of this great stuff is here. Both experiences, to come and learn something. We've got computer classes. We've got all kinds of educational things to come and pick up some great visuals. We've got an art gallery. We've got DVDs. I mean, come and pick up audiobooks. And we've got so many things, as well as all of our online resources, too. Yeah. We're here to support people from birth to their golden years. I mean, learning never stops.
No.
So we're here to support you at whatever age and whatever background. We want to be involved and be supportive and helpful and encouraging to the community.
That's great, Jewel. Thank you so very, very much for being here.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Pleasure.
And hopefully there's something that you can take away from the show today and that you have learned. If you have any questions about what we talked about on the show, remember, you head to the website, whatever station you're listening to this morning, and the key word is In Touch, and then you can get this week's episode. If you'd like to be on the show, here's how you can get a hold of me. My phone number is 845-471-1500. My extension is 159. It's beth.christie@townsquaremedia.com. I am, as I say every week, I'm on Facebook, and I'm on Twitter, and I'm on Pinterest, and I'm on Instagram, and I'm in a lot of places. So just find me, and we'd love to have you on the program. Take care of yourself and those you love, and we'll see you right here next week.